Welcome back to another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh 10-minute tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about the Synchro summoning mechanic. So this is another type of monster found in your extra deck, which is over here in the extra deck zone. You can see these are the monsters with the white coloured backgrounds. Now the important things about Synchro summoning to note that it's all about the levels. So if you see here, this is a level 10 Synchro monster, and it requires, you can see if you just read the card here, so it's a Synchro type, and it needs one tuner and one non-tuner worm monster. So worm is just the type of the card, you can see here, and it also requires a tuner monster. So what is a tuner monster, you might ask? So this is a type of tuner monster. So you can see here that Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion here is a tuner. So if you just look at this, it tells you a lot of information. So what you need here is a level 7 non-tuner, that's a worm, you see here. So this 10-year Spirit of Shuna is a worm, and it's got 7 stars, that's a level 7. Okay, so that would meet the criteria for a non-tuner worm monster. Okay, and then you need one tuner, and that's the Ghost Spell, because it says tuner, and it has handily 3 stars, which means it's a level 3. So 7 plus 3 equals 10, which means if you had this card on the field and this card on the field, the way you'd synchro summon, so bear in mind this card is still in your extra deck at this point, send these cards together to the graveyard, take the appropriate card from your extra deck, and again, special summon it in attack position or defense position face up. So that is your basic premise of synchro summoning. You need to meet the criteria, just like we explained on the last video with fusion. You need to make sure you meet the correct type of monsters, but generally, synchro monsters need a tuner type, which is super important. Okay, so let's park this to one side and explain a little bit about with some examples. So the Sword Soul deck's really great for synchro summoning because, as you can see, you needed 2 things on the field to be able to do that easily. So here, this is Sword Soul of Moyi, and when you normal summon her, you're allowed to reveal a Sword Soul card or worm monster in your hand, and it allows you to special summon 1 Sword Soul token, which happens to be a tuner and a level 4, which is handy. So what you'd do is you would normal summon the Moyi, and then you'd reveal a worm in your hand. So you'd probably show this to your opponent, okay, because it's another worm monster. And then what you can do is, if that is allowed to go ahead, you can then special summon a token. But the caveat is that it has to be obvious that it's not just another monster. So you can see this token here. This is actually a custom token that I made myself. I'll link to the video where I make this, but the card back, you can see it's like the official Yu-Gi-Oh token from a structure deck. It doesn't matter what it says, it's just like a placeholder, but as long as it's clearly not another card, so you're not really allowed to use this as a token because it's clearly a monster. So yeah, as long as you make it clear. And then you can special summon that token. So now what you have is you have a level 4 non-tuner monster, and you've got a level 4 tuner monster, which means you could make a level 8 synchro. So if we look at our extra deck, Chi Xiao needs a tuner, so we've got that in the form of our token we've just special summoned, and then we've also got a non-tuner worm monster, which is the Moyi. So what you do is you would, remember this is in your extra deck, you would take these both off the field. Now just be aware that when tokens come off the field, they don't go into the graveyard, they just disappear into the ether. So put that to one side. Put the Moyi in the graveyard, and then you special summon out the Chi Xiao again, either in attack position or defense position is your choice. And there we go, we've done a synchro summon of a level 8 monster. So just to demonstrate the concept again, with Long Yuan this time, what we can do is, if you read the effect, you can discard 1 Sword Soul card or 1 other worm monster. So we have this in our hand, let's discard it to the graveyard, and you special summon this card from your hand, and then it allows you to special summon 1 Sword Soul token, which again conveniently happens to be a level 4 tuner. So let's special summon him out, and a token comes out on the field as well. So now we've got 6 non-tuner, and we've got a level 4 tuner on the field. So this time we can put these away. So remember, token goes off the field, that goes into the graveyard, and you can get our level 10 right there. And there's so many different synchro options you can go for. You don't have to necessarily go for the archetype specific card. You can go for a generic card instead, like this Baron de Fleur, which is a really good staple synchro 10 monster to have. You can go into that. You can really get creative here. So I think that's generally all I have to say about synchro summoning. I think it's fairly straightforward. So let's move on to talking about XYZ summoning. So XYZ monsters are these extra deck monsters that you can special summon, which have a black background. So you can see here that there are 4 stars again, but unlike the normal monster cards, which have effects that have a level, you call this a rank instead. So this is a rank 4 XYZ monster. And the way XYZ summons work, so a little bit different from Synchro, because in Synchro you wanted the levels of the materials to match up, like add up to the level on the Synchro. In XYZ you want them to be exactly the same. So the way you do this is that I've got these 2 monsters here. Okay, so I'm going to special summon the Panthera from my hand because her effect lets me do so, because I control no main monsters right now. So I'm special summon her. And then I will proceed to normal summon this other card because level 4, I don't need any tribute, it just goes on the field. So now I've got 2 level 4 monsters on the field. I've got the option to go into this card, which is a rank 4, because I've got 2 level 4s, and you just check the requirements here. So you can see here again, it tells you it's an XYZ monster and it needs 2 level 4 monsters. So the way you XYZ summon is you take these 2 cards, you put them together. Now at this point you don't have to special summon in exactly the same zone of the 5 that you took them from. You can move them to wherever you like. So if I want to move them into this column, I can. That's cool. And you can even put it in the extra monster zone if you should want to do so. So if I want to special summon it here, and then I put it in attack position like this. So you just overlay the black card on top of the 2 cards you used to summon it. And the important thing is the cards underneath it now become what we call materials. They are no longer monsters. This is important to note. They are materials. This is because XYZ monsters have effects that you can activate when you detach them. So this particular card doesn't, but after, let's just say we're going to enter the battle phase, there is an effect that I want to show you. So we're going to enter the battle phase and we're going to attack the opponent directly with this. We've dealt them 2,100 damage and I've battled. So now it's the main phase 2. Remember the phases that we talked about, and you can still special summon your main phase 2. We've already done our normal summon because we normal summon this card in our main phase 1, so we can't do that, but we can definitely still special summon. And there's another XYZ monster that is really, really great. Most people do play it if they can, and it's called Zeus for short. You can see it's got a really long name, and it's another XYZ monster. Now, this technically, if you really want to do it the hard way, requires 2 level 12 monsters. Now, level 12 monsters are pretty big and they're hard to get out, but if you read the card, once per turn, if an XYZ monster battled this turn, so this is an XYZ monster and we attacked our opponent, so yeah, it battled. You can also XYZ summon this card here by using one XYZ monster you control over here as material, and you transfer all its materials to this card, which means all you have to do is put this on top, and remember again, you don't have to keep it in this position. Every time you special summon, you can just move it around if you want, but I'll just keep it here for simplicity. So there we go. We've made another XYZ summon using a monster cards effect. And now I'll show you how to use materials. So let's say that the opponent just has a monster that I didn't attack, that's just still face up on the field. Let's just say they've got some stuff on the field, okay. Zeus has an effect where you can detach 2 materials here from this card, and that's the cost because it's in front of the semicolon. And then as an effect, you can send all other cards from the field to the graveyard, which is really neat. So all I have to do is detach 2 materials from it, so I could send these 2 materials to the graveyard, and then all the other cards on the field would get destroyed. So this card would just get sent to the opponent's graveyard. So you can see now that having materials underneath your XYZ cards is a really great way to activate their effects. So that's all really I have to say about XYZ summoning. So I hope you found this video on Synchro and XYZ summoning informative. If there's anything that you feel I can clarify or do better, please do let me know in the comments below. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video about link summoning. Bye!